From the top rope to your collection, this collecting the 1, 2, 3 presented by Cardboard Dugout. I am your host, Moon 3PO, and this is my tag team partner, Bropio, coming through with another episode. But before we dive in, Bropio, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Just trying to adjust to this new setup I got going on here. The Mac's acting like an asshole tonight, so I had to resort to the iPad. So, yeah, this view's kind of throwing me off a little bit. But other than that, man, I'm doing good. How are you?
I can tell you're flustered and you're uncomfortable just by the way you're
Yeah,
moving and the way
yeah.
and the
I'm
way
gonna
you
be
keep
moving a
looking
lot
around
probably.
and the
I'm
way you
like,
keep looking around. I could tell you're throwing off your game. So for the YouTube viewers, which if you guys are just audio formats, we do have a visual format of this podcast. It is on the Moon 3PO channel. So if you haven't checked out the Moon 3PO channel, feel free to go check it out over there. All episodes are over there. I'm going to make sure if you haven't yet, go subscribe to that. And if you're listening to the visual version, want to go check out on Spotify and Apple, we are there. Make sure you do like, subscribe to the podcast, leave a rating on there because it does help push out the podcast on the audio formats. But with that being said, here we took a little bit of a break. We did take a week off last week. Nothing was really too crazy. We came off a backlash, and nothing. Backlash was okay. It didn't
gosh.
really really hit home. I mean, there were some fun little matches. Obviously, I think the probably the most comedic and probably one of the better things that came out of Backlash was the Danhausen and Mini Danhausen. Not saying that it was a bad card, but I just think there wasn't really anything to really come on the podcast and really talk about it. Because we're obviously running back in Roman and Jacob again in Crash in Italy. What else is going on there? What else happened on that card? That's how bad. I don't think how bad it was, but kind of unforgettable.
You had EO and Oscar. That
Oh
was
yes,
good.
Io
That
and
was really
Oscar.
good.
That was
Yeah.
a good match.
And
Trick
then
and
the whole
Sammy.
now we don't know if like Asuka's like semi-retired now, or I know from what I've read that she's into like some personal things back in Japan. So I think that's kind of the reasoning for it. So that happened, which was a really good match. Yeah, you had the Trick and Sammy match. Um, yeah, and I think that was it, right? Oh, and then Seth and
Oh,
Braun
Seth and
Breaker was
Braun.
also pretty
Yeah,
good.
Seth and Braun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good
So
match.
yeah, it was even one of those things too when we were making our predictions of it. Well, granted, our predictions I think kind of went the other way. It was one of those things where I think it was kind of predictable. Like all the outcomes made sense in a fashion. So it's one of those things where I again didn't really feel like it was more of like a necessity to come on and do a post reaction pod, which I think is a perfect example of what this current product currently is. So if you guys are just turning into the podcast for the first time, we are an overall wrestling and wrestling card podcast. So you will get your wrestling card podcast in the middle or later half in this episode. Because I do realize since the last time that since we recorded, we've grown a little bit here on both all and all platforms. So if you're following and tuning in for the first time, welcome to the Collective the 1, 2, 3 podcast. But I think that overall card kind of circled back to shows just what the overall current state of the product is right now. Both Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs. Like I didn't before coming in here, I didn't even know Saturday Night's main event was coming live until Monday, until yesterday. I feel like that's something that needs to be somewhat promoted. Then we have Clash in Italy, which I think is in about a couple of weeks after that. Um, but yeah, I think right now there's just been a real big disconnect with the current state of the product. I don't know how you feel about it personally. I know there's been a lot of chatter with the IWC, the comedy stuff. That's a maybe an own discussion, and maybe we can talk about it because honestly, we're just like kind of like just shooting the shit on the overall state of both Raw, SmackDown, and PLEs. But how are you feeling? We're in May. We're approaching the summer. SummerSlam is coming soon. But overall, how are we feeling about the overall state of the product when it comes to Raw, SmackDown? If you want to throw NXT in there, Evolve, if you really want to get to the nitty gritty, and of course the PLEs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think nothing's really changed in my stance. I think if you even go back like multiple episodes, like we talked about it, just it never really like felt like if you want to like really backtrack it, like going back to like WrestleMania, it never really felt like it was WrestleMania season. Um, and it's just like you can go back. I honestly like I go back to like when we're on the road to like 40, then like when CM Punk will even more further than that, like when CM Punk like first came back, like I felt like Raw and SmackDown specifically was like must watch. Like you had to go to tune in every Monday, every Friday. Um, that was just like you just had to lock in. And now it's just kind of just like, if I missed the first hour, if I missed a couple 30 minutes, Like it's good. It's gotten to the point too where like even now like if I'm late like on Monday and I'm like, oh, if I missed the first 30 minutes, I'm good. Cause I'm pretty sure it was just like some long overrun like Vision segment or something with the bloodline, and it's what it's been like for like the past couple of months now. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's nothing's really like bringing it home to where I feel like it's must watch television. And that is a problem if you want to like really think about it. Because you want people to have to tune in to these shows. Um, like we were just talking about it like right now, like just a couple minutes ago before we started recording. Like I didn't really watch Monday this past Raw. Didn't watch SmackDown full either this past Friday, all in due to my a lot of the times being consumed by the NBA playoffs and the Spurs playoff run. So it's just like, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I'd rather watch the Spurs game than what happens on Raw and SmackDown and just watch the YouTube highlights. Um, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like I was supposed to watch Raw just to this earlier today, and I just didn't feel the need to. I saw like little clips. I see clips in here on Instagram, and I feel like I'm grasping what I need to know, like just from like short little clips. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I would probably assume that it's more bad that I'm catching what's going on in a minute clip as compared to watching a whole, 2.5, 3 hour show. So I guess that's not good. But yeah, I don't know. Something it's just it's in a funk right now. So um I would honestly say that the comedy is probably what's keeping me like entertained. Like I cannot get enough of Danhausen, honestly. Like
That man is literally saving this company.
and he is everywhere. Like I just saw like earlier today that he invaded
he,
like
was on,
ESPN
he was
again
on first take
and
again.
First Take. And
And
I'm
they
just like,
literally, and today they literally invited him to the Knicks game. He was at the Knicks game
yeah, it
today,
was the
which they
Knicks
did.
game.
They
Yeah,
came back and they ended up winning the OT. So it's even you
yeah.
already
I
know
saw
that's gonna
they
be it's
I
gonna
saw
be
they
elite.
came back in from 22 points. So
Down in the fourth quarter. You
um
know they're gonna freaking live that up with the whole cursing thing
like
because he
yeah, for those
cursed
who
the
don't yeah, I
Cavaliers.
must say for those who don't know, the Cleveland Cavaliers got cursed by Danhausen earlier on ESPN, which I'm so curious to know, like especially for somebody who doesn't like watch wrestling, like with as much as like WWE content that's getting thrown on ESPN, and specifically like Danhausen. Like I don't know if you saw the clip where Danhausen, I don't know what player it was. I don't know if it was Blake Griffin or it must have been the Prime Team or somebody. I don't know who it was, but they were asking Danhausen a question about like, oh, like I don't want to get cursed, and the other guy was like, "What are you talking about? Like, who is
Oh,
this?" Like, yeah,
it was so on first take. It was with Kendrick Perkins.
that's okay. Okay, I was like, I knew it was somebody from the NBA, but they
Kendrick
were like
Perkins looks
so.
so confused. He's like, "Who the fuck is
Uh,
next to me?"
That dude's just confusing to begin with. That dude's an idiot. But that's a
Yeah, that
story for
guy is
another
pretty.
day.
Yeah.
But I'm so curious to know, like, if somebody who doesn't like watch wrestling and they're like, all they do is like, if they do watch ESPN is like their daily scheduled television, like, I wonder how they feel. Like they just see like this guy, Danhausen, talking about human monies and getting curses. Like, I wonder how they feel about seeing him on TV. That's what I want to know. That's the $1 million question.
We got to ask our good little uncle there, who's known for making our famous Facebook comments. He left a post on on one of my posts one time. I posted a picture of me and Mrs. Moon when we were in Vegas, and he puts, "Yeah, they keep invading all of my ESPN normal shows." He's like, "I don't know how I feel about it." So
Oh shit. Okay.
maybe we got to bring him on the pod and see how he feels about Danhausen being on his regular scheduled ESPN programming and get his take on it
Yeah.
here. But yeah, no, I agree. The even if you want to go back even further, the gingerbread man stuff. I know people were hating, or that was kind of like a back and forth type thing. Even I had a little bit of fun with it on my Instagram story. I posted like a little like meet and greet, like gone too soon type thing. I know it's obviously been a little bit of time. It's been, I think, about like 2.5 weeks at this point, but mixing in the Danhausen, the mini Danhausens, the gingerbread man. Like, yeah, I would arguably think that that's been one of like the better things that's came out of wrestling the last like month or so. Again, I know the gingerbread man stuff with all like the whole AI stuff, all the pictures and all that. Cause like I know, like, you can make the case for AI. Like, I understand that 100%. But I think that was the whole point of that. Like, it was supposed to be obnoxious, and the fact that they were photoshopping him in like various moments of like key WWE moments, like the CM Punk return. He was reacting to the CM Punk return, which I don't know if that was like a suitable shot from WWE, because at that time that's when all the streamers were getting all their accounts taken down, and then they have a streamer reaction. So I don't know if that was like a thing. but they had him with when Undertaker got his streak undefeated or got his streak broken at WrestleMania, the Stone Cold Attitude Era stuff. So the Hulk Hogan, he was in the crowd when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre. So I know those are always supposed to be like obnoxious type thing. I don't know about main event in a segment. I guess that's you can have a definite argument for that, but even still, then I think is one of it's. I personally enjoyed that segment, and if you want to circle it back to Backlash, the whole Benny Danhausen thing. I know our last pod that we did, we were talking about, hopefully it's Pepsi Phil, CM Punk. I was just hoping it was not Jelly Roll, but I think it being a luchador version of a mini Hausen, and then having the other mini Hausens come in after that too. Like I think that just fits the overall Danhausen character. And it seems like now, even on Friday, I didn't watch Friday. It was Mrs. Moot's birthday still, so we're still celebrating that. But this is the clip. It looks like he's getting ready for another bigger clone of a Danhausen.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
Which
Yeah,
the rumor is right now that it's rumored to be Baron Corbin. I don't think that's. Maybe I'm eating my words. I don't see that playing out. But hey, what do I know these days? But yeah, I would think the comedy is what's saving it here. Granted, the in ring it's been fine. We've talked about it, even though the matches have been short, like you mentioned there. We last Backlash we had 3 great solid matches. I know 2 weeks ago we had Soruka versus Io. That was a solid match. But yeah, I just think overall, I don't know what's missing. I really can't. I really don't know what it is. I don't know if it's running back the bloodline stuff, going back to that. I really can't put my finger on as like what can WWE do right now that can change this mindset that we have. Like I'm in the exact same position as you. Like I didn't watch this past Monday. Like it was one of those things where I was like, I'm not even the biggest Spurs. I mean, if I had to pick a favorite team, it is the Spurs. But I'm not even the biggest like basketball fan. The Red Sox fucking suck right now, and I was watching them. I had the Red Sox on, and then I had the Spurs game on. Like that, it kind of just shows you. Again, I'm not the biggest Spurs fan, but I had them on my main television. I had the Red Sox on my iPhone.
I think I'm just gonna go back to ripping top series 1. Or no, where are we at? We're almost at Chrome now. We're in the summertime. We're almost
Go with some
we're almost
Bowman.
yeah. Oh yeah, we got some Bowman too. Yeah,
Yeah, even I bought a
yeah.
couple boxes of that. It's a fun little rip. The blasters are kind of hitting.
I've yet. I always try to buy at least 1 or 2 boxes of Bowman. I've yet to. I honestly haven't seen. I've been well, I actually haven't been to Target quite often, but doesn't also help that they're freaking remodeling both the Targets in our area, so like
Oh
everything's
yeah,
like mismatched, and I can't find shit. So, but yeah, surprisingly, I have not seen any Bowman in the stores. That's pretty weird.
yeah. Target by
Yeah, usually.
where we're at had one. So they had a full like
Oh,
little section. So highly
let's check
recommend
it out.
go check it out. Yeah, but yeah, like I really don't know like where it's missing, where it's going. Is it the storytelling? Is it the lack of in ring? Like again, like I know we talked about it here. Like we had Saturday Night's main event, and I go through these matches here. We got again Brie Bella and Paige versus the Irresistible Forces. Penta versus Ethan Page. That is exciting match. I'll watch that. Then we got
Yeah,
we
that
got
one's right.
Becky
Yeah.
Lynch, and we got Becky Lynch and Soruka for the women's Intercontinental Championship. But even at that, like doesn't really get the blood flowing for that. It doesn't. I don't again. I
I
don't
wish
know.
they would have not made it an title match. I wish they would have left it a non-title because, I mean, if you want to go back and look, like I know obviously like Solbrook has been phenomenal, especially if you want to go look at all her NXT stuff. But she lost her last women's standing match against Zarya. She lost against Liv, and then she lost against Io, and now she's automatically getting plugged into an IC title shot against Becky. Like, stuff like that just doesn't make sense. So I wish they would have left it a non-title match, which, for my understanding, it was like that. And then um, earlier today, there was a graphic that got put out, and now it says for the Intercontinental title. So it's like, all right, that's interesting. So like, are we just gonna put the belt on Soul now, or are we just gonna have her take another L, or she's gonna lose dirty? Like, I don't know. But I guess
Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff that's just not. That's it's there's the disconnect, and it's little stuff like that. Obviously, that's nitpicking, but
well, no, I think it's a
I
valid
mean,
point because even
yeah,
when you compare it to Ethan Page, who's fighting for the men's Intercontinental Championship, like he pinned
yeah, like he
Penta.
actually he actually pinned
He
Penta. Yeah, yeah.
his first match, he beat Javon Evans. He was in a tag team match with Rusev. I don't remember the outcome of that. That one he pinned Penta. So I was like, it makes sense. Like you went the story. He beat Javon Evans, who's also involved in the title picture. The next following week, he's involved in a tag team match with Rusev. He pins Penta. You pin the champion. I would think that puts you in the right spot to go for the IC title. Is he going to win? I don't know. I wouldn't mind him winning. I've been
Ego.
a big Ethan Page fan, and I think his card market has been very very under. I have some stuff here sitting in the inventory for some upcoming shows, but yeah, like that makes total sense. So to kind of counter, so again, this shows the real inconsistent booking of what we've seen here is, like you just mentioned, Soul hasn't had the. I'm not worried about Soul. I think I know again. There's been some chatter online like, oh, they're
Yeah, I'm
ready.
not. I'm not either. It's just if it's
The
I'm
booking's
not worried about
inconsistent.
her. Like, yeah, it's like I'm not worried about the in ring stuff. That's not the problem. It's the proper storylines, like making sure that she's like being presented properly. I guess is the word I want to
Yeah,
say. Because like I said, there's a disconnect there where she's already lost. And I like I said, I think she's one of those people that doesn't like necessarily. She won't benefit. She won't, or I guess it won't hurt her losing. But in this case, it kind of is because it's like she's getting rewarded for losing in a sense. So I mean, given she lost to Liv, who's the world champion, and then she lost to Io. I mean, there's no if you're gonna lose to somebody. I mean, I'm pretty sure you'd pick those two. It's not like she's losing to like no disrespect, but like Maxine Dupree and
yeah.
if she was on SmackDown losing to BFAB and Michin, they just catch a strain. Good old BFAB and Michin. You can't say Zelina anymore, so you gotta stick with those two. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I think if she just needs strong storytelling in my opinion, and it's kind of getting off to like a little bit of a rocky start. But I think if there's anybody who they can pair her with and do a strong story, it's going to be Becky. I mean, like look at
Yeah.
the storyline the storytelling she did with Lyra. Like that went on for like a good half the year and or 3-4 months, and so yeah,
Yeah, and you can even if you want to go back even further, like when she was being presented on the main roster, even going dating back even further down to NXT, like being the double champ to speed and then the women's North American champion, and then when she got her glimpses on the main roster, had the one tag team match with Zarya, and then beat Bailey on John Cena's retirement
yeah,
PLE, and then was in the final three for the women's Royal Rumble, and then now she's finally here, and then you have her dropping some matches again, big superstars. Don't get me wrong, but again, kind of just shows the inconsistency of what we're seeing here, and kind of again some of the inconsistency that we're seeing with a lot of the talent involved. So yeah, I don't know. It's been really weird. I was hoping some of these call ups would have freshened things, minus from Fatal Influence. I think those have been the bright spot of these call ups. I think we did our rankings a couple weeks ago. Again, it's still Fatal
yeah,
Influence number one. The work they've been doing on SmackDown has been absolutely tremendous. All three of them.
killing it,
Uh,
killing it.
all three of them. Fallon and Laney had their first match last week. Or 2 weeks ago at this point. When
And
was
they
this show?
still, if I'm not mistaken, they still have not done their full intro, right?
No,
I
I was
haven't.
pissed. I was
Okay.
pissed. I was pissed at it because I don't know what they did. I think they cut a
I
promo
think
in
they just
between.
cut the music, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they cut a
Uh,
promo going to the ring. I'm like, dude, can we get the full entrance? Like the
yeah.
music, the cameras, like the presentation is everything. And speaking of entrances, I know people are freaking out because Blake Monroe had her dark match against Jordan Grace on this past Friday as
Oh
well.
yeah, I heard.
For the
Yeah.
people who don't, I don't want to say don't watch wrestling or don't operate wrestling, for dark matches, they do not bring out the full stops. I know everybody's been talking about the mirror and like the the vanity not being there. It's a dark match, guys. They're not, especially with WWE and their payroll and knowing everything that we know how they're budget cuts and all that good stuff. They're not gonna waste a vanity thing, construction, whatever, for a dark match. So even though Blake Monroe has yet to have her official SmackDown debut, they keep doing vignettes. It seemed like it was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago, didn't happen. She did have a dark match against Jordan Grace, which she did win, but yeah, they didn't do the mirror entrance when people were freaking out about that. So I would not worry about her as right now. She hasn't even had a match yet. People are already freaking out. But let's pump the brakes a little.
I wonder when they're gonna air that. I want to be. I guess maybe they'll air it the week after she debuts, maybe technically, or I don't know.
Yeah, I would hope so. I think I would think because man, they haven't even shown Jordan Grace back on TV yet. So she's been
Yeah.
cleared for the last couple of weeks and they have her like doing nothing. So
Maybe they hold on to this for a little bit. I don't know.
yeah, maybe it's one of those vault things. I don't know. But yeah, hopefully this debut. I fear it's one of those things where they just called her up and didn't know, like, we don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Kind of like with Oba. I think that's why maybe Brock's back.
Maybe, dude. I don't know.
Which I guess
I mean,
before we head into the card talk, what are we
yeah,
thinking about Brock and coming back? I know it's gone back and forth. I'm kind of in the middle of the camp of like I think the moment that they had was like a perfect storybook ending. Like I think Brock leaving on his own, and if that was his own call or not, like I feel like that's the most Brock thing ever. But like that match itself was like perfect. Like the tipping of the cowboy hat and things like that. Like that to me signified like everything. Obviously, as a wrestler, if you put your stuff in the middle of the ring, typically that's it. But I think Undertaker has done it like twice and he's always came back. So it kind of goes
yeah,
against that too. So um yeah, to me, like it's one of those things where am I mad about it? No, but I think the moment that they both had on WrestleMania night two, I think that was one of probably like the most like perfect way you can end it. Cause like what do you do now? You beat him
yeah,
again. Yeah, Brock beat him. Like where do you Gunther's on SmackDown now? So that rumor of Gunther's promise, and that promise has been fulfilled, is to get a championship match against Cody. That was his promise.
yeah,
So the whole rumor that he was going to terrorize, which to me never made sense, that he was going to terrorize Paul Heyman to bring back Brock to continue the career killer thing, like that to me never made any sense to me. But yeah, it to me it's just like okay, like you had nothing to do for him. You did these stupid open challenges. You fed him Phasmo, Del Tasma, and Otis, and that was it. And like, all right, Brock's back.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. So I didn't watch Monday, but I know um there was like a contract that apparently Brock signed. Was that supposed to be for Clash in Italy? Is that what it's for?
I believe so. I believe so.
Okay. Because I was like, well, I can see them possibly if there was a way to drag this out to SummerSlam, which is in Brock's area in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So that probably would have made more
Minnesota.
that would have probably made more sense than having another random match at in Clash in Italy. Um, so I guess it's kind of just like a wait and see. I guess if it is official for Clash or if it's somehow going to get dragged out into SummerSlam, which I mean, if it does, I mean they gotta drag it out 3 months, 2.5 months from now. Um, which doesn't help if they don't have anything ready for Oba. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of strange. Yeah, I think Brock did kind of have that would have if he would have just stayed retired like that. I think that would have been the most Brock ish retirement ever. Like just the way he is, where he just comes up, shows, does his work, and then just disappears into his lumberjack, all his stuff in the forest and all that. So um, I don't know. I mean, from all we heard, there was always like speculation that they didn't know that he was retiring. So I don't know if it was like he decided to do that on his own. I know that was like one of the rumors that he just did that on his own because he did the whole X thing and stuff like that. Um, so I don't know if that's that a shot at TKO, maybe saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna do whatever I want," or I don't know. So I really don't know. Um, but let's see. I mean, like I said, like you said, I don't know what else they could give us. I think it's gonna give us another, you know, 5 minute match, 3 minute match, that clash. Like, is that really what we want to do again? But guess we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, and I was looking it up here, and yes, can confirm here it was a contract for Clash in Italy. So
Okay. I
it does seem here that they are building up for that. When is Clash in Italy? I don't even
think
know
it's
when
the
that is.
last Sunday in May. I think it's May 31st, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yes, it's the
It's on a
triple
Sunday.
law, and then
Yeah.
now that's a fucking that's gonna be something to watch. The math versus math. The work they're doing down there. Now
Yeah.
that's some professional wrestling down over
Yeah,
there.
really quickly, back to Brock. Like, if we've one of the things we've always complained about is the time length of these WWE PLEs. Like, if you're gonna do your standard five, and one of them's gonna be Brock and Oba, if you're gonna waste 5 minutes on that, like you're only leaving four. You already have the tribal combat, so now you really only got three more matches. So it's like, I don't know. Oh no, then you have Cody and Gunther. So now you really
Yeah,
only got two more matches. So I think that's a little bit of a problem too. Who knows?
yeah. No, I agree with everything you said there 100%. And I've expressed my feelings about Brock. I've never been, or you and I have never been the biggest Brock guys. So it was just one of those things where like I think the return for Cena that's a little bit different just because of all the everything that was kind of going on outside of the ring that kind of led to that kind of like shock factor moment. I think we came back on that pod. I think I even did a video about it, kind of like how that just came out of freaking nowhere. We were like losing our minds when that happened just because again of all the outside stuff. This one here is like a little. like, yeah, I think you had something perfect, and for some reason you're just touching it again, which really weird. So
I mean,
yeah, who knows?
Even the Brock Lesnar T-shirt guy came out of retirement too.
You saw that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, who knows? I mean, again, SummerSlam is 2 months, 3 months away at this point. So that they do a trilogy type thing. Cody, he had his trilogy, and that's where they had his last SummerSlam match. So who knows? Time will tell. Without or what's it? Brock? No, Brock came back next SummerSlam and
Yeah.
beat up Cena. So yeah, that's it wrong. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where it is what it is.
Brock
But
has a love for SummerSlam. I think. I think that's what it is. It's where he won his
that's where he
first.
beat. It's where
Where he
he's
won
won
his
his
first title. Yeah, against
where
The
he
Rock.
beat the Rock, right?
Yeah.
I guess it would be
Yeah.
kind of poetic.
Honestly, yeah.
All right, maybe I take back what I
Yeah.
said.
Right. I just sold myself on
I
it.
just supposed to say, all right, you got about it.
Three things
Man.
starting life: death, taxes, and Brock Lesnar on SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it would be poetic. It's kind of like AJ Styles. AJ Styles talked about it. He's like, everybody does, WrestleMania or whatever. He's like, I came in here at Royal Rumble, now I'm out. Granted, it was Saudi. So have at your take with that information. But I think AJ Styles kind of echoed a lot of the same sentiment there. But yeah,
That's true.
that's the wrestling format. That's the Wrestle Talk there. Again, it's been lackluster. If you guys are listening, you guys sound off in the comments down below. How are you feeling about this current state of the product? Are you watching anything else? Like I know I briefly mentioned, I've been watching a little more Triple R recently. That's been a banger of a watch there on the good old YouTube. Are you watching AEW? Are you watching TNA? What are you watching? Are you still watching WWE religiously? Sound in the comments down below. I'm curious to get y'all's opinion on that. Now, like I
You know what
mentioned
I'm
here,
watching, and I can never not like turn it away. I think I mentioned this a while back too. There is an account on TikTok, and all they post is like move segments from like the Black and Gold NXT era, and it's
oh
like,
yes, yeah.
Today I found I watched or what popped up in my feed was the best of Adam Cole, and I'm like, man, that was just something else.
That dude was on a different level.
Yeah, it's unfortunate at how it's. I mean, I think I'm pretty sure he's done. Um, how his AEW stuff came to an end. That sucks.
Yeah, his AEW stuff like never took off, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looked like right when it was about to take off, like he just got hurt, and that
Yeah.
sucks. So
Yeah, I feel like his best stuff was probably going to be with MJF, and then the whole ankle thing happened, and then it kind of made that awkward storyline where they were trying to make MJF the good guy or the bad guy to kind of like flip it to being Adam Cole being the good guy, but Adam Cole was the one that portrayed him, so it just really didn't work, unfortunately. And then obviously with the whole leading up to All In Dallas last year, so yeah, it was just really unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know. We're recording this on Tuesday. Maybe I'll tune back into the good old AEW on Wednesday. I know it's
I haven't
all
tuned in
out.
for a hot minute. I was going on the streak there where when MJF was holding it down. I was tuning in every week, or and if I wasn't tuning in every day, I was watching it the next day on
Yeah,
HBO
same.
Max. But it's been a hot minute since I tuned in, so yeah, I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, I know they're doing a champion versus mask match. I don't know. What's is it all in? No, it's not all in. What the hell is it?
I
Let me
said
look.
double or nothing.
Oh yes, double nothing. You're right. I
Yeah,
think it is double nothing. Yeah, I
yeah.
think that's the next PLE. So I think it's MJF versus Darby Allin versus I think it's a hair. No, it is.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
it's a
The
hair
title
versus
versus hair.
championship. So
Yeah, 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 yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
See if they. I thought that Darby winning was weird. I didn't understand that. I think he was one of those guys where he didn't need the
I thought
championship,
so
and
too.
he's always talked about that too. Like he's never talked about wanting to win belts. Like he's always been that kind of guy. So
I mean,
I
I
thought
think
it
when
was
they
kind of
were gonna do it, they went to go climb Mount Everest for God's sakes.
yeah.
Like, he dipped. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Weird, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll tune into AEW. So again, maybe keep it on the shows. If I watch AEW, I'll give my honest review on that. I think a lot of people too have been tuning in a little more, trying to find different alternatives to watch. I think it's been pretty echoed of what we're overall feeling here.
Yeah, it's getting rough out there.
Yeah, it's getting a little rough out here. But to now transition over to arguably one of the hottest WWE products right now, that being Topps Royalty. And I say it's hot because of the WrestleMania patches. Now, we gave a little bit of a review of this product last episode, kind of talking about what we've seen so far. Obviously there's some hits and there's some misses with the set for sure. I think if you're a high end set collector, this may be the set for you. If you're someone like myself, who tries to, just to fund the hobby with the hobby type thing, maybe this is a little bit of a more an expensive set, especially when it comes to collecting and or breaks. But I mean, I think again, you're not going to tune everybody's horn when it comes to these types of sets here. Again, I know the people who love the high ends, this is kind of been their set for them, and it's a fun set. Do not get me wrong. There are some good cards. The booklets are really fun if you pull one of those fun little patches there. I know we were talking about it on Saturday. A lot of the 101s obviously have some of the cooler patches. I have one coming in soon that I'm going to make a video about that I bought. Not a booklet, but a patch, because there's also some color patches. There's some napkin patches that for that price point are maybe not worth it. I mean, maybe go find a cheaper alternative with like Exalted or even Universe. But obviously, what is making up this set here is the WrestleMania patches, and we've had a lot of patch talk this past week and a half here. So at the time of this recording, 11 patches have been pulled. Shout out to our guy here, Babyface Breaks. If you guys are not following Babyface Breaks over on Instagram, he is keeping up with the tracker online as far as what patches have been pulled, and also sales as well that have gone either privately and or publicly. But according to his post here, again, might have changed the time of recording or time when this episode is out. We do have 11 patches that have been pulled. This is who have been pulled as of right now. We got Becky Lynch, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, El Grande Americano, Eric, Jade Cargill, Jay Uso. You're gonna hate this one. Lyra Valkyria, Ray Phoenix, Randy Orton, and Seth Rollins. Now, a lot of these here have been sold either privately. Some of them, from my understanding, have been holding on to them. But during this discourse here, we have had two that have sold. Jade Cargill here sold, I believe, in a private sale. Again, this is all reported by Babyface Breaks. That sold for $7,400. And obviously, the one that we were keeping an eye out here is the Randy Orton, which did sell live via eBay auction. It was obtained by the Consignment Group. I forgot the name of the Consignment Group, but it was also obtained by RBI Crew 7 for a little bit over $42,000. Now, we were watching that card at it was hovering around like 26K and then jumped like 40K, I believe, like within a couple of minutes. I was at world. It was Sunday, right? I think I was at the movies when it was sold. But we all we obviously know that Carl Anthony Towns, again, more basketball time. Maybe we get turned to a fucking basketball pod. Carl Anthony Towns was in on this card from the New York Knicks. He's with the New York Knicks, right? He's with the Knicks.
Yeah, he's with the Knicks. Yeah,
I was like that. So my ball knowledge, huh? What was the last team he was with? Wasn't he with the Twins? No, that's the fucking baseball team. That's my brain.
Yeah, you had the right city, just had the wrong team.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
See, I knew I got ball knowledge. What's a quick little basketball card podcast? Bouncing the 1, 2, 3. Bouncing the ball. I don't fucking know. But yeah, it was rumored here that Carl Anthony, not rumored, it was confirmed that Carl Anthony Towns was in on the Randy Orton card, but lost it by 2.1K. I guess we'll obviously we'll talk about the two sales here, because obviously the patches are the patches. They've been pulled. Not really too much to write home about those. But let's talk about the sales. We usually don't talk too much big sales, because again, it's kind of one of those things where it's just really not our style of podcasting, where we talk about big time sales. That's not really our type of thing. Our podcast is more of who we're collecting, who are we buying, how to get into it. That's the main gist of our podcast. But I think it's kind of hard not to talk about these two. Again, Jay selling for $7,400 and Randy Orton selling for over $42,000. And obviously, that's going to lead up to one of our bigger patches here that we're talking about here in a couple of minutes. But Jade Cargill, $7,400. If you ask me, I mean, granted, again, not my style of collecting, but is it crazy to say that's a lot of money to me? But is it crazy to say that $7,400 kind of feels a little light?
Yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, too. I think the Drew McIntyre patch sold privately. I think if I recall watching one of Babyface's videos, I think it said it sold for like around 8,000.
Oh
I could be
yes,
wrong.
I think
Yeah,
they did mention that, which I felt acknowledged. If you guys yet go follow the Sour Face podcast, I'll link it down below as well. They go
yeah.
live, I believe, on every Sunday, but I think he didn't mention that.
which I think when I was reading through the comments, like somebody said that that seemed low for him. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think with these patches, I would want to take in consideration like what it was like necessarily for that like their like what that WrestleMania moment meant to them because you gotta remember that patch is obviously like it's worn. So like for like Jay, Lyra, I'm trying to think of like other people, Tiffany, like that's their first WrestleMania. So if you really think, oh no, that's not Jade's, that's not even Jade's first. Sorry, she
Yeah.
debuted. Damn. Well, Lyra, Tiffany, like people like that, like if
Ray
you
Phoenix,
or
El Grande
Ray
Americano.
Phoenix,
Yeah.
or if they won the belt, if they won the title at WrestleMania, like I think that has to go into thought process of the patch. I'm gonna say, um, because like for example, just to like zero it down to the Lyra patch, like that's her WrestleMania debut, so that like you know for sure is her first WrestleMania, and you can like you know the stuff like that that might mean that might hike up the price a little bit. So for Jade's, um, that seems like a right about price. I don't know. I guess. Um, I mean, obviously, I'm not the biggest Jade fan, but who did she fight at that WrestleMania? I'm trying to remember now.
Naomi.
Who did she? Oh, okay. That was that Naomi feud. Okay, okay. Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if Jade was in a world title match or something, maybe if she won the belt there or something like that, maybe it would have gone for a little bit more because you can be like, oh yeah, this is from Jade's first, like this is Jade's first title defense or where she won the belt or something like that. So. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Like I would think like maybe like the like going back to that like title matches. So like this was the triple threat between like Bianca, Io, and Rhea, which you know we've all talked about that. That's like one of like the greater WrestleMania matches of all time. Like that match is such a good match to watch. Like if you like obviously if you get one of those patches, like I don't know, it might be more to you and it might drive up the value a little bit more. Like obviously the Orton one I think was inscripted. What that was his 20th WrestleMania if
Mania.
I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah. Um. So stuff like that's pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. Just pinpointing the Jade, I feel like that's an accurate price point. Um, but yeah, the now going to like the Randy Orton one. Um, I was watching it and I was just like you know watching the clicker go down. I think that's the only downfall of eBay for like cards like this. Like once that clicker's gone, like it's done. Like I know like there's like for the bigger auction house, like with Golden and stuff like that, like they have like they excuse me, they have like the last minute bids. So
Yeah.
as long as somebody's like constantly just putting bids in, like the clock restarts a little bit. So that's the only downfall of like eBay. So like if one of these if that card would have like maybe hit one of the bigger auction houses, who knows how much more this could have gone. um, if they're constantly, you know, letting you do last minute bids. Like, because Carl Anthony Towns was like very vocal, like, oh, like he thought he had it in the bag. He thought that was a big enough bid to win it, and then he got sniped right at the last minute, which I would assume is probably like the last 10, 15 seconds of the bidding, which usually when that's when stuff drives up on eBay, which I've lost plenty of bids that way. Um, so I don't know. Who knows how much that could have gone for if it went to a big auction house, which I would assume whoever pulls that John Cena card, I mean, that's gonna be a hefty price tag right there. I know there's like $100,000 bounty on it already. Um, I think it's probably gonna go from obviously more than that. But I mean, like that patch alone, like you can pinpoint to like that's John Cena's last WrestleMania ever he competed in. He won the Never Seen 17 championship. Like that patch, like has significant meaning to it. Um, So that alone can, you know, fetch more on the market just because that patch means a little bit more as compared to like, you know, somebody else's who, you know, like Jade, who was just like her regular WrestleMania match in a feud against Naomi, which, you know, mind you, that feud, I love that feud. I love the storyline between her and Naomi. Um, but you know, you see what I'm saying? Like they're
Yeah.
just telling the differences. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing here with these patches, like obviously this is the first time that we're seeing these types of patches hit a trading card product and a WWE trading card product specifically. Obviously, baseball now, basketball, they have the gold logo man patches, they have the MLB debut patches, which the gold logo mans are not even one on ones anymore. Like I think like SGA for example, like he's gonna have two sets of gold logo man. He's won back to back MVPs. Same thing with like MLB, like Paul Skeens, Aaron Judge, those kind of guys. Man, I'm just showing my sports knowledge today. Damn, man.
There you go.
But like the point that I'm trying to prove there is that superstars that are involved with 42 or in 41, like same superstars that are involved in 42, like they're also going to have a mania patch. So to kind of
Yeah.
translate to that Randy Orton, for example, and you brought up a good point, is that like what do you value more as a collector and or as someone who sees these as quote unquote investments, if you want to call it that? Do you call it a 5 minute match that he had with Joe Hendry, or is it a main event that he had against Cody Rhodes, which we talked about that storyline and with how bad that was, but due to the unfortunate outside interferences, that being Jelly Roll and Pat McAfee, but it still is Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and it's a main event. I don't know what number main
Yeah.
event that was for him, but what do you value more as as a Randy Orton collector, or against someone who tries to put investments on these, or price tags on these quote unquote again investments? Because I put in my Patreon post. Shout out to the Patreon post. If you're not following the Patreon post, check it out. Link down in the description down below. Like I talked about, I think the two biggest patches are going to come out of this are going to be Joe Hendry, that being like one people fail to recognize. Now he's a WWE superstar, but at that time he was not a
Yes,
WWE
TNA guy.
superstar. He was a TNA
Yeah.
guy. He was a TNA champion, and,
And
and
TNA World
correct me if I'm
Champion.
wrong.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that is the first non-official signed WWE non-signed wrestler to be on a WrestleMania card that wasn't officially signed by WWE. I somebody have to fact check me on that, but I would think that's accurate. Like Vince didn't allow anybody to do that.
On a
Um,
WrestleMania card, yeah, I think so. Because you can even go back to um NXT's Halloween Havoc. Like the Hardy Boys are on a Topps trading card and they're
oh
TNA
yes,
guys.
yes.
So I mean, but that's a big deal. Like I mean, obviously that would never happen back in the day. Um, but yeah, like that card. Yeah, that Joe Hendry card's gonna do crazy money. Um, which is so weird because I like Joe Hendry. I do like him, but like he doesn't get a lot of love on the web. And so like when I see a lot of his cards going for like crazy amount of money, I'm like, where is this coming from? Because I don't feel like the value of his cards is not meeting what I see online. Like I feel like he gets shit on so much online saying he's just a comedy act and blah
Comedy
blah
wrestler.
blah. Yeah, but like his freaking cards are like doing like all kinds of crazy numbers online. It's crazy. But yeah, I agree with you. It's gonna be a crazy patch.
Yeah, and I think also opens up the perfect door to the John Cena patch, because that's the other patcher that I mentioned in the Patreon post that I feel like is will be fetching tons of numbers here. Which I now think that is a perfect segue to the John Cena patch, because like you mentioned here, and it's also what I mentioned in the Patreon post, of those being the two biggest patches, like you mentioned, there are at first to start off with 40K bounty, I believe. Again, that was set by Carl Anthony Towns. Then has gone up to $100,000, and then now there's even one $100,000 with 10K in breakers credit. I know I was having a discussion with our other brother. He was like, "Is that $110,000 bounty, or is that still 100,000?" I still say it's 100,000 because I'm not getting that $10,000 for like me to go and spend it
Yeah.
somewhere else. It's a breaker credit attached to them, potentially to that shop, but him being the argumentative that he is, he was going against my decision there. So maybe you guys will have to let me know. What do you guys think? Is that a true $110,000 bounty, or is that $100,000 bounty? Uh, but yeah,
Hundred thousand.
yeah, I think it's $100,000 too. But it's funny how this card has changed like the overall like discussion of it with these sales, because I remember when this card was first announced and was first being discussed. Uh, I was having the conversation with actually with Bayface. Race had asked me. He did it for a video. He was like asking me, he's like, "What do you think this card can be worth?" And I echoed, a lot of the same things that you said. Like to me, this is not a traditional like trading card. This is not your traditional WrestleMania pass. Like we talked about with the other superstars. The other superstars may or may not have WrestleMania passes moving forward, but we know for a fact that John Cena is not going to have any further WrestleMania patches. Like that is his last ever WrestleMania. He had it on his towel. He beat Cody Rhodes and became the never seen 17. That itself is historical significance with that patch. So when I was talking to him about it, I was telling him, I was like, I don't.
Oh, so really quickly, does it change if it's now event used and not event worn? Like, do you take that into consideration?
Yes and no. I still think like, I mean, if you want to be one of like those like people are like, oh, like he held a towel type thing, like
I mean,
Seth
he's not wearing
Rollins.
it.
Yeah,
He's
like
not wearing it.
Seth Rollins had it on his gun, on the flamethrower gun.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, you definitely have a good argument there. I just still think being a
Can you, can you imagine if he like not knowingly and
burned.
forgettingly like no like John Cena forgot like the patches on her and then he just chunked it into the crowd?
Well, I think that's been the rumor with like a lot the people that we don't see like on the patches is that they either lost it or they forgot about it. Like I think Dom, I think they said they lost Dom's and Liv. Remember, like Liv, I made a video
Well,
about Liv was wearing hers on fucking
Liv is I would say Liv is WrestleMania and Raw after Mania worn. So
yeah, and she was wearing it in May when she came back. I was like,
yeah,
so I was like, yeah, her patch was like long gone, but yeah, you bring up a good point. Like as far as like he didn't like wear on the show of his sneaker or was on his drawers. It's event used, but I still think it being tied to that event
yeah,
and tied to him and tied to that towel, I still think is going to obviously still bring historical significance. But what I was telling him in the conversation I've had with people like on TikTok and YouTube and everybody is that like I think this is not your traditional like card. Like this is not your one of one black prism that can be replicated from 22 to 24, or, you know, your top super fractor 101 auto. Like this is it. Like we're never gonna see any other further John Cena patch. And the comparison that I made was like, I really think you have to look at like wrestling, like memorabilia, like wrestling collectible. Because again, this is not your traditional card. And the good price point that I always brought up, which I think is now probably going to exceed that potentially, was the Hulk Hogan boot. I always look at the Hulk Hogan stuff, unfortunately.
mm,
But Hulk Hogan's, I think it's one shoe, one boot sold for over 140K on Golden Auction with his match against The Rock at WrestleMania 18. So I was sending like, I was sending people too. Like, I think that's where we kind of have to look at it. And it's crazy because I think back then people were saying this card was announced, like, oh, like what's this card gonna do? Like, is it gonna break? Like, there's question marks on like, is this card gonna break 3 figures? Is this card gonna top the 101 Rock, which is the highest recorded sale at being 126,000? And I think it does 100% now. Like there's no doubt in my mind that this card breaks 100K. A couple weeks ago, I was like, I think maybe it can, maybe it pushes just a little bit. But now with all these bounties that have been set and all the mainstream attention this card is getting, like I think there's no doubt in my mind this card exceeds 100K. Um, what that figure is, you know, if it's 150, does it exceed a Hulk Hogan boot? Does it go 200, 300? Like, I really don't know. It's hard to put a price point because we've we've never we've never seen anything like it, and it brings up even more question marks. Like, what does a CM Punk patch go for? That's just as a CM Punk fan. Like, if I had that amount of money, I'm paying thousands of dollars for that card because that's his first ever main event. And if you want to get a little bit crazier, like what's his WrestleMania 42 patch going to look like? Because that's his if people like to put like that's his true main event, but I never see it
yeah,
like that. But like
yeah.
people want to say like, well, night two is your true main event, like he did it this past year. So like, how do you compare the two? Uh, Roman as well. You know, if you want to put it into him, like Rhea, like what does Rhea do? Like does Rhea break Randy Orton? Like I obviously her market is like on a different level. Like, is it crazy to think Rhea tops 42K? I think to the right person, I think it does. It again depends on who you're
Yeah, I
asking.
think it probably yeah.
It honestly depends who you're asking and
Uh
who has it. Because I mean, to an average person, you get offered 42K, or if you want to compare it to Jade 7400, that's a lot of money to them. So they might take that offer. Like we saw, you know, I want to go back even further, like the Sol Ruka patch, the SmackDown debut patch, that went for 10K in a case of Breakers of Light. Like, I mean, 10K is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but man, you probably could have fetched for that a little bit more if you sent it to an auction house, or again to the right hands of to a guy who was calling her so Roka and doesn't
Roka.
watch a. I don't. think that person, I'm not gonna give him any more publicity. I don't think they even freaking need it. But like calling her Soroka, doesn't know how to say her name, and yeah, like, do you think that card's in the right hands? I would say no. But to
So
that's a that's a different conversation for another time. But
yeah,
yeah, I just think again it just brings it up like who pulls the card, who has it, where it's pulled. We've seen some things going on with some cards that have been pulled overseas. Um, like there's a lot of question marks that are going to be happening with that card if and when it is eventually pulled. Um, and I think it's going to be something I talked about in my Randy Orton in the Randy Orton video, which some guy left it. Oh, God, that's off another tangent. I don't know where I don't know where these bots are coming from on YouTube. Look at this comment here. Look at this
let me
comment.
tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something, brother.
So I talked about the Randy Orton patch being one of the biggest cards we've ever seen on eBay. Or the biggest card. Oh, did he delete his comment? No. Did he delete his comment? He might have. I'm gonna find this comment so you can see the shit that I've been dealing with. We're talking about it off video, but again, with the way we've been kind of expanding a little bit and like more growth happening, I realize there's a lot more stupid people coming at me with. So in one of my Randy Orton videos, I talked about how this is before I got sold. I put I titled the video "The biggest WWE trading card right now is on eBay" because it right now, it's the title. It says right now is on eBay because it is the biggest card. John Cena is obviously going to top that. Some guy leaves me a comment. TF, you mean there's only been trading cards for like a few months that we've ever seen? Okay, I'll read that back. TF, you mean there's only been trading cards for like a few months? I have to comment. You do realize that trading cards are not date back to the 1980s, even further than that, right? That's a shit that I've been dealing with all fucking day or all the last couple of months. That's off a tangent there, but
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Maybe they didn't know wrestling cards existed.
yeah. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't know.
The amount of people that have been coming at me in my comments and about stuff I've been saying, I was like, come on, guys. Let's use our brains a little bit. Let's use a little more context and let's
Do some
talk
critical
about
thinking.
let's do some critical thinking. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I again, like if that card goes to that guy's hands, he probably sells the John Cena patch for $100 and a pack of bubble gum. But who knows?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know, man. What's this? I think the internet's probably gonna break or wherever it gets pulled, whether it be like on Fanatics Live or whatnot or whatever other breaking platforms there are. Whenever this thing gets pulled, and if it gets pulled on camera, like I think that program's just gonna like short it and electrocute the bird that's standing on the power line or wherever it's at. Because yeah, it's gonna be really big deal. And I think I honestly think it's probably gonna break the record for being like the highest sold like wrestling trading card. Which, if
Yeah,
I'm
for
not
sure.
mistaken, I think is also held by the one and only the immortal Hulk Hogan. I think it's like 132,000. So I mean, if there's a bounty already for 110,000, like what's another couple 30K for you people? Um, I think also too, like I had no idea, and I really don't know. Like I'd have to go back and like look at like the real like PG era of the WWE to like go back and see if like Karl Anthony Towns was ever there, or if he was even playing basketball. I don't even know how long he's been in the league. Honestly, I can't keep track. But like I had no idea that he was a fan of WWE
Yeah,
or if he
neither did
was,
I.
but I think like John Cena is more than just like a wrestling guy. Like obviously he's an actor and he's well known out in the world. So I think like not everybody's going to be at it. Like there's going to be celebrities. There's going to be like random ass collectors and stuff like that. Like I don't know if like you've seen that guy from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary.
Tim
Like
O'Leary.
he's now big into trading cards. Like so why
Yeah.
wouldn't he want to get in on a John Cena patch like and stuff like that? So um yeah, when this card hits, it's gonna break the world. But yeah, I'm like looking at some other patches. Like I know we're talking about it too. Like what the patch kind of means to like certain wrestlers if you collect them. Like we talked, obviously we mentioned Punk. Like this one will be his technically first main event, or and then 42 will be his his night two WrestleMania. But like you look at Xavier and Kofi, like if the way things work out, like that's gonna be their last WrestleMania ever that they ever
Yep.
compete at. So that
Good point.
patch is their one and only patch that they're gonna ever
Okay,
have. So
I
if
didn't think
you're
about
a
that.
collector, if you're a collector of the New Day, or you collect Kofi or Xavier and stuff like that, um, that's something to consider. And if you're a true WWE collector and you know that, and let's say somebody who pulls it is not really a true WWE collector, might undersell it because it might mean more to you than it is to them. So that's just something. I don't know. That's stuff I look at when it comes to this kind of stuff, especially when it's event worn, event used, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I think that stuff goes into a little bit more stuff, but
And you even bring up a good point here. I kind of wanted to take it a little bit further. AJ Styles. AJ Styles on the list, and
yeah.
that's his last WrestleMania
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. There you go.
So
Yeah,
where do
that's
you
his
put
last
the
one.
parallel between? I mean, granted, AJ Styles, no disrespect, is no John Cena because, like you mentioned here, John Cena is a public figure, the voice of what's the voice? What the voice of the car? Hyundai.
Huh?
What's he the voice of? He voices the fucking car commercial.
Oh no. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's Hyundai. Yeah, yeah. I think it is. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
He's also Peacemaker. He's also
Yeah,
Peacemaker. So I mean, yeah.
Peacemaker.
So I mean,
Yeah, he's
obviously,
in the Fast and the Furious franchise. Like
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah.
I forgot
Like
about
maybe Universal gets in on the bidding and wants to hold the patch there at the Universal Park because he's in next to the Fast and the Furious, right? It's like the Paul
dude.
Skeens patch. Like
That'll
when
be
Paul Skeens got
yeah.
sold, like it got bought by Dick's Sporting Good and it's on display. I don't know if it still is, but I know when it first got did, that's where it was. But like we were all like, all right, who bought it? And it was like Dick's Sporting Goods. We're like, what the hell? Like what the hell is Dick's Sporting Goods getting into it? But it's on display. Like stuff like that you got to think about where maybe like I mean I don't know what it'd be like, but what if like I don't know. What if the Celtics bid on the card and it's the patch is on display at the TD Garden? Like every time you go, you can just look at the patch. Like I don't know, stuff like that you got to think about. So
You bring up a really good point. I didn't think about that even further.
yeah,
I
or maybe
obviously,
Vegas, or maybe Vegas bids on it, and obviously it was there at Allegiant Stadium, so maybe I don't know who owns that stadium. I don't know if it's like the Raiders or the city of Vegas, but like maybe they get it on it and they want to display it there at the stadium. Where hey, this is last WrestleMania and it was held here at Allegiant Stadium. I don't know.
I guess
Stuff to think about.
before we wrap it up here officially, if you were the lucky collector to pull this card, what do you do with it?
Oh god, man, I do not know. I put my chances of pulling it at like a 0.00000001. Uh, just because I'm pretty sure that I haven't honestly really looked at royalty breaks, just because. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I've been staying away from it just because it's just really not for me in a sense. I
Yeah,
can I was obviously chasing like Lyra's spot, and I wasn't really necessarily chasing the WrestleMania patch. Um, I think I only got into like one break and didn't get nothing. So, and then as I monitor the eBay market on her cards, they go for like any of her patches are like 50 to 80 bucks or kind of around that range. So, which is what some people were selling her spots for. Um, and then once the WrestleMania patch got pulled, I was like, oh, well, there's that. I mean, obviously you can still chase the 101s and stuff like that, but I think obviously the main one is the patch. But it's all kind of like, it's kind of not kind of really for me anymore. But so I can only imagine how much the John Cena patch, or how much, I don't know how much the John Cena spot is going for at that. Um, and then like I think like on what the secondary market, what boxes are like what around 1,500 still probably.
yeah, give or take. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just really unrealistic. I mean, that's a damn mortgage. That's my damn mortgage payment for God's sake. So it's just crazy. But if I was to pull it, God, man, I don't know. I'd have to. Yeah, I do. I don't know what I do. Maybe die for like a quick second and then come back to life. And I think personally though, I think it has to go to like an auction house though.
yeah, I agree,
Honestly,
100%.
I really do think so. I'd probably hit up Ken Golden on Instagram
Oh
and be
yeah,
like, "Hey, I
I'm
got
hitting him
this
up real
card.
quick.
Yeah, can I be on season 4 of King of the Collectibles,
King
maybe?"
of Collectible co-host of Collecting the 123.
Uh, yeah. I'm like, hey, can we do a live pod in your studio and stuff like that? Like, yeah,
Oh
I think it has to.
man,
I think this card is like meant for the big auction houses, honestly. So that's
yeah,
probably what I
there's
do.
no way.
Yeah.
Like that's why when the Randy Orton one hit eBay, I was like, what the hell are these patches doing hitting eBay? I thought these for sure would have been either auction houses or private sales. Like whoever is a
Yeah.
super collector of these people, like they're gonna know who pulled it and figure it out and offer them an X amount of dollars and get the card sold. Like the fact that the order hit eBay was absolutely insane, but it was fun to watch. I from watching it from the outside was definitely
If
something
I'm not
fun too.
mistaken, too, I have heard, and I don't think anything's ever been like confirmed, but I heard all those rumblings that eBay has been like looking into possible like auctions continuing if there's last minute bids. And that was a little while
They were
back where I read this.
supposed
So
to. They were supposed
yeah,
to, and like I still get outbid in the late seconds. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this card is in a perfect example of it. So
Yeah.
I think for certain cards, it just has to be that last minute bids because I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, because something did come out about that. I remember everybody was kind of losing their minds, like saying like, "Oh, it's gonna reduce," or like the late minute sniping and like the finding the late night deals, like that's gone away because now like you can bid with 1 second, but then it resets to like 5 seconds, like you mentioned there, like the big
Yeah,
golden, the big auction house. Like I remember it's when we were still doing the baseball pod. We were watching. We weren't watching. Oh yeah, we were watching. We were watching
yeah.
the Boss Gaines.
I think we have a we recorded the live
Yeah,
when we were, and I think no, we recorded when it's had like an hour left or 30 minutes left, and the clock just kept restarting and restarting. And we
yeah,
were like, what the hell? And then finally, I think we finished recording, and I think we finally saw the sale. So, but yeah,
yeah. So
that's an old nug right there for you guys.
yep, if you've been following since day one, man, hopefully the Cena does hit an auction house. Maybe we can do that again, or fuck, go on a live stream on YouTube or something
We
and do
could
it.
do that. Yeah, honestly, yeah.
That would
A
be
live
really
stream would be
fun.
pretty cool. Maybe
Uh,
send out some invites to some other collectors, just
yeah,
have them join in, shoot the shit a little bit. That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we'll do it. It doesn't have to be the Cena one. Like it could be like a Rhea. Again, it's contingent on if they go to an auction house. Is like whoever's big left
Yeah.
on this list. Like once they get pulled, like do they go to if they go to auction house, like watching them live and just seeing what they do. That I think that would be a pretty cool idea. So invite some of the good old pals from the online, just come in and kind of just talk about it as we watch these cards sell for ridiculous amounts of money. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that is our podcast here. But of course, before I wrap everything up here on my end, Bropio, any final thoughts here for the good old listeners collecting the 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I got a cool little got a little game to play. Little segment just to want to kind of want to do this one kind of like a slow week. I know usually we've been recording for like an hour and a half, an hour kind of barely past hour, so it's kind of shocking. Um but we're gonna do a little game. We're gonna do a little, it's called this or that. So what I kind of want to do is it's going to be just like a bunch of stuff. Obviously, it's really simple. Just this or that. Pick whichever one you want. I think eventually I kind of want to like integrate it to like card stuff, and I'm gonna mix it around. It's gonna be all just wrestling related, but um, eventually I'll figure out how to mix it in with cards, and I'll just bring this out whenever it's a slow week. But we got a little eight man bracket of this or that. So I'm just gonna tell you two things. Or I'll tell you what the categories are, and you just pick. I'll give you the list. We're just gonna do bracket style, eight, and then we'll crown the champion. Which, funny enough, we're choosing, it's an 18 championship retired brackets. So these are all belts from the WWE that are no longer in lineage or stuff like that. Like they just don't exist
Oh,
anymore.
okay.
They could be integrated with something else. So I'm gonna give you two, just pick one, and then we'll just go down the line and stuff like that. So I use the good friends over at Chat GPT to
Shout them
randomize
out.
this list, shout them out, supporters of the pod. I gave us a list, and I was just gonna say the two belts, and you pick, and you can just pick however you want. So you can pick like
Now,
the
quick
belt,
question. Am
how
I
you
going
look,
based
how they look.
off the that's not answer my
Uh,
question. Am I going based off the
yeah,
lineage of the belt? Am I going based off
whatever you
the
want. You
style?
can
Okay.
go. You can bet you like the way it looks, or you like people who held it, or you can remember a certain whatever you want. There's no
Okay.
qualifications. You just pick. All right.
All right, I
So I
like
got our
this. All
first
right.
round. So we have the WWE Universal title, right in the blue one, versus the WWE Hardcore title. Which one are you picking?
Oh. So this may be a controversial take, but I personally like the blue universal title a lot. I tie
Okay.
it to Bray Wyatt a lot
Okay.
and like Roman and like when he had both the red and blue at that same time. The hardcore title is a cool design, and I get supposed to represent like trash, but to me, it just looks, yeah, it's just
Trash. Looks
trash.
like trash.
And I really can't like the way I just did it right now. I really can't pinpoint like a hardcore title winner that I'm like, oh yeah, like that's it for me. So yeah, off the top of my head, I'm going with my initial reaction. I'm going with the red and blue Universal. Might be a hot take, but again, I
All
tied it to
right,
Bray Wyatt and Roman, mainly Bray.
we got it. All right, that works. All right, next we got the WWE Divas title, which is obviously the butterfly, versus the WWE ECW Championship. So the big silver one.
Oh, both are ugly, but the Divas.
All right, there you
Silver
go.
one's fucking atrocious.
Oh, yeah.
And in my head, like, am I picking Kristen? Or am I picking AJ Lee?
There you go. That's the way to look at it. Next, we have the $1 Million Championship
Oh,
versus the 24/7 title.
oh, I don't like 20. Yeah, the $1 million one.
Yeah, done. All right. Next and final round, we got the WWE Cruiserweight title. So
Oh,
this is specifically the one from like 2002, like the Rey Mysterio, Billy
oh,
Kidman, Jamie
yes.
Nova era, versus my personal favorite, the WWE European title.
Ooh. See, I know you're a big European guy. I know you love that belt,
Love that belt. I don't know what it is about it, man. Just whew.
but there's something about the cruiserweight title that I've always loved the design of that belt. And again, going back to the lineage of that title, Mysterio, Tajiri,
Oh,
Jamie
I think about that
Noble.
title. I think about like when Matt Hardy was trying to hit weight at 205. Remember?
Yes, Matt Hardy. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, that it being on SmackDown during that duration, Chavo. Uh,
yeah.
I would pick the cruiserweight title.
Cruiserweight title it is. All right. Got semifinal rounds between the Universal title against the Divas title.
Oh man. No, I can't pick the butterfly, right? No, I can't do that. Yeah, it's gonna be the universal.
Here we go. And then we got the $1 Million title versus the Cruiserweight title.
The design of the $1 million it's so clean. Obviously tied to Ted DiBiase, tied to
I
LA
totally
Knight
forget too
too.
that LA Knight had it
Yeah,
and
tied to LA
NXT.
Knight
Totally forget.
NXT. But the cruiserweight, man, that's tough. Am I going based off design or because
Up to you.
the
You can go
friggin'
design,
design?
you can go lineage. You know, Stone Cold had it at one point,
Oh yeah, he
introduced by the $1 Million Man.
did.
Cruiserweight title is your childhood. Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, there, yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the cruiserweight title.
All right, which leads you to your final matchup. Who's taking the chip? Is it the Universal title or is it the Cruiserweight title?
Oh God. I don't. That's tough because I really do like the red one. I don't specifically like for the Universal. It was something about the blue that did it
The
for me.
blue did look the blue did look a little bit cleaner. I remember when the titles first got introduced. That's when they were like, you know what's so funny now that I think about it? Like, had these titles like when they just switched colors, like from the red and blue, like had that came out during the TKO era, that probably would have made more sense because they were like, oh, they're just being cheap and they're changing the color. It's kind of
Yeah,
funny to think about. Another thing, yeah, seems like a TKO thing to do.
and that's definitely a TKO thing with like a Slim Jim ad on the back of it.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh.
Oh man, I'm going based off design and what that title means more to me. I'm definitely picking the cruiserweight title. It's hard for me not to pick that title. As much as again, I much of I talked about the Universal, the blue, and the ties to Bray and all that. I think Goldberg had it at one point, which if I pick something with Goldberg, it's atrocious. But kind of yes, going back to the cruiserweight, Rey Mysterio, Tajiri, Chavo. If you want to go a little more on the comedic side, Jamie Noble.
Jamie never had it. Yeah, Billy. I
No
think
one
Billy
here,
Kidman
Billy
had it too.
Kidman. No
Yeah.
one here touches my Lydia. So, so if you really want to go down that route, I believe even
Oh man.
Hurricane Helms had it when he was away from
Oh yeah, yeah,
Shane
yeah.
Helms had it away when
When
he
Shane
broke away
Helms.
from the Hurricane persona.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just think that
Yeah.
title is and that's everything I've always loved about professional wrestling. Like it's obviously the smaller guys in wrestling, obviously cruiserweight. It's in the freaking name. That's why I was so excited when they brought that back during like what 2017, the two when they brought the whole
When they
205.
well, they brought it to NXT first, I think, and then because it was called the NXT
Oh
Cruiserweight, and
yes,
that's
the
when it became.
tournament. Oh my god, I gotta go back
Yeah,
and watch that tournament.
yeah.
Oh, dude,
I
that
think that's
was
when
so good.
I think it was TJ Perkins who won it.
Yeah, and the purple
Yeah,
one.
so I
Granted,
remember
not the
I know
traditional.
it was purple and it was the NXT Cruiserweight, and then they got away from that, and then it became the WWE again when they got 205 Live, and like that's when Enzo Amore had it and stuff like that.
Neville,
So
the most
yeah,
Jack
Neville,
205, Buddy Matthews,
Buddy, yeah, like
the
there was no
most
way that
Jack
dude was
205
Cruiserweight.
guys. Like, there's no way those guys are 205 or below.
Yeah, you know, if I ever meet him, and I don't know if anybody's ever asked him that, I need to know, like, was he really cruiserweight weight, or if
There's no way with that much muscle mass that you're 205. There's
yeah.
absolutely no freaking way. That dude is
Uh,
him and freaking Neville or Pac, whoever you know him by, are absolutely freaking jacked.
those were not your traditional cruiserweights, if you want to call it that.
I know everything I talked about, like being smaller, but except for them two.
Yeah, except for the purple cruiserweight, that belt was hated. That
Yeah,
had
that
too
belt
many
was
asterisks.
yeah.
Oh my god, good stuff. Good
But yeah, no.
stuff.
So I guess I'll flip it to you.
Good
What would you pick?
stuff. Oh man, I when I did this bracket, I was like, oh shit. I'm a sucker for the European title, dude. I love the European title. I don't know what it is about that sucker. That's why I like the Xbox card in Chrome. He has the European title on it.
I was about to say when I saw
Um,
that card being pulled, like it's a sick card and like sick
yeah,
European. I was like, I just know this dude's gonna go fucking crazy for this card.
yeah. I need to get a couple of maybe some parallels. Maybe get a number to 25. That's orange, right? Is that orange? Yeah.
Yeah, the
I have
orange.
to get a. I might have to get a. I'm pretty sure Xbox can't be that expensive for God's sakes, but
Oh no.
um, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's like my all-time favorite, like retired belt is the European title. I wish they would honestly bring it back, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it won't. Like, yeah, I'm going with
Man,
European title. The European title.
yeah, I figured. I was like, I'm gonna ask the question, but I feel like I already know the answer. But I figured you're gonna pick the European because I know you're a sucker for
All of
that
my
one.
favorite wrestlers is usually at one point had the European title, and it just looks so clean. I don't know. It's just pretty cool.
Do they sell that on the on Fanatics? No, right? Probably not.
No, they don't. I've looked on eBay. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I've looked on eBay for like replicas of it, and they are some. Obviously they're just beat up. This is it's such an old belt, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day. Maybe if I find cause I know you can like not necessarily make the belts, but like there's people who make replica belts
Who
in
make
a
them? Yeah.
sense that yeah, I was like maybe they can make me a nice little European title.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna go on eBay and go try to find a cruiserweight one.
Here's like my the little one, she has a the wifey's coworker gave her, I guess her daughter was like cleaning out old stuff and she had the purple cruiserweight belt, the toy
Oh
belt.
wow, should be going crazy
Yeah,
for
so
that.
she gave it to the wife and she's like, hey, like, do you want to give it to your daughter? She's like, yeah. So we gave it to her. It was a while back. And we gave it to her and she'll run around the house with it and stuff like that. So I think it's the NXT one, if I'm not mistaken. I think it says NXT in the middle. I know we went to Raw, I was like, hey, do you want to take your belt? And she's like, nah, I don't want to take it. And I was like, all right, don't take it then.
Next time I see her, I'm gonna beat her for it and claim it back.
Yeah, maybe next time we host a wrestling party, I'll have her take it and then be like, yeah, put your dukes up, defend it.
I told her no nipple babies in our wrestling our home wrestling. There's no nipple
There you
babies in our
go.
group.
Not up in here.
Not in our company.
There'll be some questionable booking, but there's no nepotism in here.
And we don't question the booker here. We don't question the booker.
Yeah.
No, but I did like that segment. And for those off the record, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, Moody is surprised." I didn't know he was gonna do that, by the way. So it's completely off the dome.
I keep my. Usually when I come up with stuff like this, I use it for my final thoughts. But like I said, usually I want to try to do some other card related stuff to kind of mix it in. I won't do it every week, but I'll try to mix it in every other now and then to come up with stuff. So I'm gonna try to relate it to like wrestling cards and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll come up with some stuff.
No, that was fun. I genuinely enjoyed that because yeah, again, we
Especially
are
on slower news weeks when there's not like a lot of like stuff to preview and stuff like that. I know we have a nice little break until the next set, which I think is Cosmic.
Cosmic Chrome, June 4th. Yeah.
Yeah,
So not
my
this week, the
favorite.
following week, June 4th, will be Cosmic
Oh,
Chrome, which we will do a full preview of that, break that all down for you guys. And of course, if you want even more like extensive detail of the podcast, who has the most hits, the most cards, autographs, things like that, obviously we'll cover it here on the pod. But if you want to know like every specific superstar, we'll have that over on the Patreon page as well. Going to be adding a little bit more to that as well. Want it to be a little bit more than just like a checklist breakdown. Like I'll probably what I'm going to be doing. Probably first post will be highlighting like NXT superstars in their market. I know Babyface breaks in their conversation on their pod kind of triggered it a little bit. They're talking about Kendall Gray and her market and how it's kind of been like off the charts, with all the like the relics stuff and royalty stuff like that. So kind of evaluating her market and not just her, like every other market that's going to be coming through. Um, like we talked about it obviously like the bigger names is a little bit harder to do that because they obviously have their set established market. But like when we seen with some guys like Obafemi, you could have bought like his autographs for like 10-15 bucks. Now you'll be lucky to get a base autograph for like less than $100. So that's kind of where the brain's kind of going with that. So I kind of want to find the little pillar kind of great kind of goes against that because her stuff is already so expensive. But kind of it's like, is it a smart buy? Do you hold? Do you sell if you pull her stuff? Things like that. So that's kind of the idea that I have for the good old Patreon. But again, the Cosmic Chrome breakdown, I think some parallels have already been announced for the most part. So I could probably already start working on it. It's just going to be hopefully we get a checklist announced soon so we can actually
I
like
wonder if it's going to be the same parallels like in baseball and basketball and all that stuff.
from what I've seen, I believe so. I've been trying to compare
I
the
know
two
Tops. I know Tops is trying to keep it like
linear. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, they own all the fucking sports license at this point, so why not?
Yeah.
Jesus
So
Christ.
yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to like cross like reference everything. I would think as well they keep the same like box configuration, like no guaranteed autos, like what's like the Neptunes, like all the planetary pursuits, like what is that? Like what are the odds of those? Again, those are pretty hard to hit. So I kind of pick and choose and kind of see how that translates to the market. I think it's a 200 card base set, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have to go
Hmm.
and fact check me on that. But yeah, that's the idea for that. But yeah, that's June 4th. So we'll probably be seeing breaks loaded up here pretty soon. We'll probably be seeing some Wild Wild West stuff over on Whatnot the next couple of weeks here. That platform is uh, absolutely insane. But before I throw anything else here on my end, Bro Peel, mine is from your tournament, which I very much enjoyed. We definitely gotta do that again. We'll probably even do it next week if so. If nothing
Yeah.
but Cosmic
Okay.
is out. Any good old final thoughts here for the good old listener, the collective, the 1, 2, 3.
Uh, yeah, man, I really don't got much, honestly. Um, I haven't really been staying away from breaks, honestly. I kind of just been window shopping on some stuff. Just kind of just browsing in and out of some of the breaks, but um, yeah, just kind of taking a little reset. All these sets back to back to back to back. It was insane. I know we complained for a good while that we didn't have enough, and then Tops, shoved it in our faces and gave us numerous sets, within the first 5 months of the year. Um, so I don't know. I've been still if I do the breaks, I'm kind of like mixing in Chrome. I think it's
Yeah,
probably been my favorite for the most part.
agree.
Like I said, royalties just a little bit too pricier on my end. Um, Exalted wasn't really a big fan of it. Didn't really like napkin patches and stuff like that. So Chrome where it seems to be. So and I know we still run into some stuff here and there on the retail side of Target, Walmart, and all that good stuff. So that is a good thing to say. And I know Amazon like quietly restocks here and
Mhm.
there. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's still like blaster boxes live on Fanatics or on the Topps website. So yeah, kind of around that. So I want to go GPK hunting for Lyra's card. Honestly, it's really what I kind of want to do at this point. Um, and I honestly have not seen her steeper fracture auto with the little bird feather
Oh yeah.
drawing been pulled yet, if I'm not mistaken. If it is, and you see this video, please don't message me because I will not be able to buy it. I know. We joked about the I don't know if it's a break group who pulled the Lyra WrestleMania patches. They gave me a
Ladies and
follow. I was
gentlemen,
like,
we got
oh
him.
man, yeah. I was
You
like,
got
I
the
hope you don't
wrong, you
think
got
I'm
the
their
wrong guy.
guy. I was like, I don't have who I PC in my bio for a reason, but if you look at my post, you can kind of tell from there. But yeah, so um, if it is been pulled, just let me know, that way I can stop buying into these breaks blindly. But at this point, I know the one of one GPK got pulled of hers. I did see that on eBay,
Yeah.
which I think Babyface actually did in his video. I think if it sold for like 5K, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah. Something
or
along those lines, yeah.
yeah.
Dude, a Bianca
Um,
super sold for like 76, some shit like that. That's kind of crazy.
yeah, well, Chelsea sold for 7 grand too. The GPK.
That's insane.
So
Granted, I
yeah,
love
I
those
don't
cards,
know.
but yeah, that's insane. But
Yeah, they are
I've
awesome.
always said to people like the value of a card is what someone's willing to pay. Like comps, you can comp whatever, but
Oh
like
yeah,
I've always expressed that someone was, and that's what every card, not just wrestling, like the price of a card is what someone's willing to pay. So if someone's willing to pay 7K, by all means, you do you, buddy. But yeah, it's always kind of, fun and exciting to kind of pinpoint different things. Like again, we're talking about Jade, like Jade Silver 7400. That's a event use patch for WrestleMania, and yeah, we got a super fractor of a GPK of great art. Love the art. Obviously,
yeah.
that's been my favorite insert subset that we've seen Tops do since they've regained back the license. Um, we have a super of Bianca and Chelsea going for nearly that price, so it's kind of insane. But again, it's I'm not gonna be shitting on those sales. It's just that's the price what someone's willing to pay and someone's willing to sell it for. So and that's with everything in life and when it comes to collectibles. So yeah, I thought that was a fun little fun trajectory there. But yeah, as far as on my end here, again, if you guys are not following, make sure you are following everywhere. We've been doing, of course, our normal daily uploads. So again, you can follow me at Moon3PO. That's all social medias there. You can, of course, follow Bropio at Dad Who Collects over on Instagram, TikTok. Go check out his eBay store as well. All those links will be down in the description down below. Um, as far as on my end here, June 13th. So that is going to be 2 Saturdays from now, or about 2.5 weeks. I will be back as a trading card vendor. I took a little bit of a hiatus. I took a little bit of break. Of course, had my Vegas stuff going on, was doing some other things, so didn't really have time to like really like dial into like inventory and stuff like that. But June 13th, I will be back as a wrestling card trading card vendor. Mrs. Moon will also be set up selling a little bit of her Pokemon stuff. So if you are in the San Antonio area and want to come say hi, come check out some cards, come drink a coffee. It is with the Cards, Coffee, and Collectibles, hosted by Volti Collectibles. If you want to come in to say hi, the vibes are always great. The environment is always really good. The hosts of those events always take good care of us and for the people coming in. It is free entry and free parking, which you cannot find. It's very hard to find that at a card show these days. So again, if you are in the area and just want to come walk around, have some good conversation about wrestling cards or just any collectibles in general, again, feel free to check us out here. It's going to be at 1207 Richland Hills Drive, again, San Antonio, Texas, zip code 78251. So again, if you are in the area, June 13th, it is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's going to be a good time. Again, I'll be there. You will not be in attendance. You will be traveling.
It will be at the most magical place in the world, or coming back from the most magical place on Earth.
Place the world. So
That the term that they use?
most magical place in the world. So they say. I would doubt
Yeah.
that.
My wallet ain't gonna say that. So.
Bring me back a churro.
Oh man, cannot wait.
But yeah. So I will be there again. We're filling up the inventory right now. So if you're listening to this and you're looking to sell some stuff, I am buying. So yeah. Again, June 13th. It's going to be a good time. It'll be a lot of fun. Those shows are always a lot of fun. Even Mrs. Moon enjoys doing those shows. So when my wife enjoys it, that's when you know it's a good time. But yeah, that is all I have here on my end. I thank you guys for listening, subscribing wherever you're tuning in. If it's not a slow week, we'll be back next week. We'll probably be just doing this again. Honestly, I highly doubt we're not going to get anything for Cosmic Chrome, probably till later the week, maybe early the following week. So yeah, it'll probably be another episode of us, just shooting the shit, talking wrestling and just talking cards. I mean, it's not like it's hard for us to do that. We do this regularly, so it's not hard.
So we got Saturday night's main event. We could probably
we got Saturday's main event.
Some bones on that.
Yeah, we got Saturday's main event. I know we briefly talked about a Triple A. They have the match for his mass match. We'll talk about that. How you know, if anything crazy happens on Saturday as well. If more Clash in Italy stuff happens. Oh yeah, well, Clash in Italy, we'll have a prediction pod, I guess, for that. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, we will be back next week. So hopefully everything here kind of fills on this card so we can make full on predictions. And again, hopefully we get Cosmic Chrome so we can do a full prediction episode of that as well. But yeah, that's gonna be it. Again, thank you guys for listening, watching. I really do appreciate all the support you've been showing both of us. I really, really do appreciate it. We got some fun things coming on the way. Can't really say too much about that actually, but it's a little wink, sneak. We do got some cool things coming. So for the YouTube watcher, Robio is twitching out of me. I can't tell it's because of the setup or what I just said.
Can't say
but
much.
but yeah, we do got some cool things planned out in the future. So again, make sure you are just following, subscribing, all that good stuff, so you can keep up to date with those news and videos. But yeah, that's gonna be it. We will see y'all in the next one.